prize that we will give to somebody at the end of this call. We're giving away John Malmo's book, Monkey is King. John Malmo is a member of the society, and this is my favorite book. So I hope that whoever wins it enjoys it. Okay, well, now we get to start the interview with Daphne Large. Daphne was inducted into the society. It feels like it was yesterday, but it's probably been about 10 years ago now. So I have no concept of time anymore. It's just pre-COVID and COVID, right? So, but we are going to interview Daphne as the CEO of DataFacts. Daphne, I think I just want to get the ball rolling with, why don't you tell us a little bit, who are you and what is DataFacts?
Awesome. Pearson, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. I'm a native Memphian, grew up in Memphis. I've never left. Briarcrest, Memphis State, all the way. I started my employment with Equifax, who most of you have probably heard of. When I was 16, I was the mail clerk. And so you asked me to talk a little bit about my entrepreneurial journey. So in a nutshell, how that came about is really developing a career at Equifax and going through the motions, through operations, raising my hand a lot, getting promoted, doing things that had not been done. Equifax was very siloed at the time. We were purely an operations division. Sales was over there, home office was over there. You never mixed with them. But we needed to raise revenue and really bootstrap ourselves in our big Memphis regional office. So I raised my hand along the way when I was 24 and said, hey, give me a try. Let me try to start up a mortgage credit reporting division, which many of you know that's part of what DataFacts does today. And so at 24, I started a mortgage credit reporting division that was successful, became very profitable. Started it, ran it with a great team. Then I started a background screening division, again, to raise revenue for Equifax in our region. And so then there was a very unique set of circumstances that happened. It was a very unique moment in time that offered me an opportunity to leave, because all of the business that we had worked very hard to develop for our new mortgage credit reporting division, due to an acquisition by Equifax, was going to, by default, put all of that business really back into the hands of the people we had stolen it from. And so that did not set well with me. My position was very secure. I had 6 departments and divisions that reported to me, but that division was very near and dear to me. That team had worked very hard. And so we left, and I took 3 of my best operations people with me, and we started DataFacts. I was 27 years old. It was late July 1989, and we had business on our very first day. And that was so just exciting when you're sitting on the floor of Clark Tower waiting for your furniture to arrive, and the fax machine is already rolling. Back then, great technology. Mortgage applications were rolling onto the floor for us to produce the credit reports. And so that was a very, very exciting time for me. And that's how DataFacts was born. And so today we have upwards of 125 employees, hundreds and hundreds of contractors. We have a very robust mortgage lending solution set of business products, anything a mortgage lender would need, front to back, pre and post close, and then a very robust background screening division. Every product and service you could imagine, pre-hire, post-hire, we're in all 50 states. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful company built on many, many great team members.
That's amazing. Did you always know that you wanted to go into business for yourself, or when you were growing up, is this something you wanted to do, or?
Well, no, I'll tell you what's true is I was always bossy. Does that count? I had a very good career path at Equifax, and had I not been so frustrated with that unique opportunity, I never set out to be an entrepreneur. But what was true is I had many of the entrepreneurial characteristics. I like to break rules, insatiable curiosity, always trying to make something better, trying to innovate or change something. And so it was probably just a great, point in time, just fate intervened.
That's really cool. So tell me a little bit about the corporate culture at DataFacts. What would you say draws people to want to be part of that company?
So Pearson, our culture has been developed over nearly 32 years, but the founding principle for DataFacts that is so, so very important is that if we take great care of our people, they will take great care of our customers, and then our customers take care of DataFacts. And it just works, and that's just how it flows. And I think that when people come to DataFacts, they feel that. We have a set of core values that's very, very important to us. With one of the most important is do the right thing. And to me, that's a fairness approach, fair to our customers, fair to our team, and fair with our vendors, right? Because they're very important to our success. They're true partners with us. And so I think that's what draws people to us. And so many of our people have come from referrals from our team. And that's just so special when they want to share that experience and have other people join our team. That's just very gratifying.
For sure, for sure.
Pearson, Daphne, if you don't mind, Daphne, can you go into a little more detail maybe on some of the things that you do to help engage your people and, to your point, be fair to your people and be good to them, and they'll be good to you. So what are some of the things you might do?
Some of the things that we've done, and especially it's been challenging during COVID, is we like to have fun, right? We like to take breaks. We like to have fun. Over the years, and as we've grown, it's gotten harder, but we'll take full company trips sometimes. So we may have to break them up. We've done cruises. We've done trips to New Orleans. We've done trips to Tunica. We've done trips to Nashville. We've have big company year-end meetings. We take breaks during the day. We play bingo on Zoom. We give out prizes. We do community service work together. We've helped build playgrounds at youth villages. We frequently, every year, Easter egg hunts, Halloween pumpkin carvings, parties, at every holiday, we try to find something to celebrate with a nonprofit, but also internally, employee appreciation. We just, we want to celebrate what's right, what's good, celebrate our folks. And we're always looking for new ideas. And again, it has been a little challenging with COVID, but one of the fun things we did at our big January meetings that we still held, but virtually, was a big team building event, an escape room on Zoom. And it was so cool. And it was so fun. And everybody loved it. So we just try to keep a fun culture going.
I love that. Did you have any mentors or any special advisors as you were growing your business or starting your business?
Absolutely. In fact, it was my old boss at Equifax who was actually a founder with me in DataFacts, a very silent financial partner. What was very special about that, Pearson, is he was a hard ass, right, on me. And that's probably why I'm that way. I'm hard, but expected the best, but moreover demanded the best, and taught me so much, and always believed in me and challenged me, and would never take no excuses whatsoever. It's kind of the old saying of there is no try, only do. And that's kind of how I was raised through that mentor. We're very close to this day. He's no longer a part of DataFacts, completely bought him out in 2005. But, we still have another business interest together. And he's just like a father to me. He's 80 years old now, but, we're just very close.
That's a great relationship. You're really lucky to have that, for sure. One thing I want to jump in and say right now is if anybody on the call has any questions for Daphne, you can put it in the chat box below, and we are paying attention to that so that we can make sure that we answer any questions that you might have for Daphne. So just wanted to say that. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you, though, as we go there, and Mark, please feel free to jump in if you have any questions. But what if somebody came to you and said, I'm thinking about starting a business, what would you say to them, Daphne?
I would say that, first of all, make sure that you understand clearly you're not going to just get to do what you love to do or what you think you're good at. You may be the accounting team, the sales team, the marketing team, the compliance team, the operations team, the HR team. I mean, you may be it. And you better figure out how to be pretty good at all of those things until you can afford to hire that out, or you no longer have time for that. The second thing is be prepared to work 60-plus-hour weeks for a long time. If you don't have to, lucky for you, but nothing ever goes according to plan, right? So you've got to be able to pivot quickly, change quickly. And the last thing I would say is when you do start making a little money, don't spend it all. Don't run out and buy the big car, big house, big boat, whatever. Save it, invest it back in your business, because the money and the profits will come. And you've got to set yourself up for sustainability.
Oh, those are very, very good points. I also want to find out, because you have talked about that it's fun to work at DataFacts, that you've got great employees, and that you appreciate that they also refer people to work for the company. But how do you find those good people? And
well, again, Pearson, so many of our good people have come through referrals, and we do all the normal things, LinkedIn, posting. In the old days, you were advertising in the Commercial Appeal or some newspaper, but today it's usually through social media, word of mouth, referrals, and again, just really, again, our people have found some of our best people. It's getting a little more challenging, I think, during COVID to find those good folks, but we're still very fortunate.
That's great. I'm going to kind of jump to a different topic, because I was just thinking about Memphis and the fact that you grew up here, that you were raised here. And Memphis is known for being an entrepreneurial epicenter. I mean, there's so many great companies that have started here. Why do you think that is? What do you think?
Well, Pearson, I'm going to go back to the 25th anniversary of the Society of Entrepreneurs, when your brainchild was to put together There's Something in the Water, right? There just seems to be something in the water in Memphis. And when we look back at Memphis history of being positioned on the fourth Chickasaw Bluff in the great mighty Mississippi, that really set the stage and the foundation for so much entrepreneurialism to bloom here and blossom here, with logistics, transportation of goods, all of those things. And I think most entrepreneurs in Memphis have been so inspired by the greats of Clarence Saunders, founded the supermarket. You've got the Wilson family, Holiday Inns. You've got Fred Smith, FedEx. You've got Plow, MCR Safety, Donovan Enterprises, Fred's Dollar Stores, which unfortunately is no more, Crowlite, Juice Plus. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of these big international companies. And I just think Memphis has a soul about it that we've had to bootstrap and pick ourselves up time and time and time again. Back to, Martin Luther King, that yellow fever, all the things that have happened here, we keep surviving through the grit and grind. And I think it's a personality that we have. We solve problems, we create jobs, and we want to help move Memphis forward. And that comes through many times through the form of entrepreneurialism.
I love that answer. Memphis is a very special place, isn't it?
It surely is.
We do have a question that I want to skip around and ask you right now, so we make sure we can, from Shepard Simmons. Are there any particular management philosophies, methods, or books that must be paying attention to our insights meetings, where we're sharing those right now, that you would recommend that have inspired or helped you manage your business?
I am a firm believer in the Rockefeller habits. I know Chris Bird, I think, who was on this call, maybe have been one of the ones that introduced me to that many years ago. In the Scaling Up book, right? Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. I think it's a great, great foundational book for any business, young or old, that needs reminders along the way. It's simple to read, but you'll need to read it 10 times. Mine is just threadbare. That high altitude leadership parallels, metaphors between climbing mountains and running a business. I love that book. And of course, I love all the Jim Collins books, From Good to Great, How the Mighty Fall, and all of his suite of products. And John Kotter too, that's Kotter with a K, just great. Leading Change, I love those books.
I know that you do have a very good bookshelf at your office, so I appreciate that he asked that question. He must know something about you. And then Vern Harnish does a really good email distribution that I get, so that's a great resource also. We have another question from Dustin Van Dyke. What was the biggest hurdle that DataFax has had to overcome, and how did you pilot the company through it?
Well, when we can think about 32 years in business, nearly, there's been a lot of hurdles. And I would just say, in the mortgage industry and the human resource industry, technology, just the constant technology back from, we started on typewriters, literally pounding out our services. Where now everything is cloud-based, internet, there's apps everywhere, we're integrating with everybody's software. It's that constant evolution of technology. We cannot get behind or stay behind. And we have to compete with companies with, nearly $1 billion in revenue, right? And so that, if I had to name one thing that's never going away, is that constant evolution of technology.
Oh, it's very true. Hurdles. I'm going to go ahead and just keep on this asking the questions because we're getting so many good ones. We have Teresa Bailey asked, and I love this, is that she says, "Go Rockefeller habits." I'm curious what advice Daphne has for other bossy women entrepreneurs who are in the beginning years of running a business.
Well, I'll tell you, you've got to know, and this takes a while for bossy women, and I know Waddell and Associates is a big Rockefeller scaling up follower too, is you've got to learn when to lead and when to get out of the way, right? I think that's a big one that I know I still have to smack myself up the head sometimes to try to get out of the way. And I think the big thing is that, when you're a confident person, and most entrepreneurs are very confident, self-assured, I don't want to use the word cocky, but you've got to know when to get your ego out of the way. And you've also got to always try to hire people that are better than you. If your goal is to still be the best daggum salesperson your company ever had because you were the original salesperson, you're not going to succeed. You've got to hire people better than you and be completely fine with that in every area of your company. And that's hard sometimes for self-assured, confident, bossy men or women to do, right? Because that's where their ego lies.
That's a great answer, for sure. Wiss Laughlin asks, did you have investors, which you said you did, but how did you deal with them, and when did you decide? I'm ad-libbing a little bit on that, but how did you decide that it was time to, break with any of those investors? Or
Right. So we've never ever had outside unknown investors. Not we could have sold 1,000,000 times. We could have had private equity companies out the wazoo wanting to put money in our company. So there's always been a close relationship with the one, former investor and owner that we had with DataFax. So it was always very amicable, very loving, long-term relationship. But in June of 2005, it was just time. It was probably should have been done sooner, but it was just time. He was never really involved in the business, but yet there was this, constant trying to make everybody happy. And it was just time, and I just said, hey, it's time for me to buy you out. And it was like, okay, let's do it. That was that simple.
Well, that's a good thing. It seemed to have worked out for you there. If you could go back 10 years, what would you have done differently?
Probably have bought him out sooner. First of all, because you do live within constraints of you've got to please everybody. I would have expanded more. We've had 2 acquisitions. We've bought 2 companies along the way. I would have acquired more companies, but I also would have acquired a sister type company niche, either niche product or some technology solution. Many of our competitors, really big ones, have done that, whether it's a piece of technology that the mortgage lending space or the HR space would use. I should have done that and hire more salespeople faster, right? And just build a bigger, robust sales team. We could be 10 times our size, but that was really never our goal. We've never wanted to be the biggest. We have very much wanted to be the best. And we're a mid-size. We're probably a top mid-size player in our market.
That's great. I want to talk about the fact that, we are dealing with COVID. It seems to be getting a little bit better. But what did DataFax? How did y'all deal with that? I just
Well,
leave that off as
absolutely.
such a huge question.
Right. And I think DataFax honestly was ahead of the curve. I called our first leadership meeting at the end of February of 2020, because, you know, you start hearing it's coming, and I thought it was going to be a big deal. And I think some companies thought it was going to last 3 weeks. And so we called a meeting. Our team completely got it. Everybody had been watching. We mobilized quickly, and by mid-March, we were a 90% remote mobile workforce, which was fairly difficult because of what we do, but we were increasing security. We redid all our processes, our protocols. We had people deployed with what we called go bags. And we were working from home. We never made it mandatory that you had to work from home. Many people stayed in the office because that was where they were most productive. But we ended up with about 90% out. We have a mobile workforce anyway, because not everybody works in our operations centers. We have one up in Massachusetts, one in Memphis. At the time, we had one in Little Rock. And we're about 30% mobile force anyway. And by the end of this month, we'll be back completely in by at least 80%. And we expect to roll back into full force by the summer.
Are you doing anything as a company about the vaccine, encouraging people, or is there any kind of...
You know, because the vaccine's not available to every person yet, we're encouraging it. We're not requiring it. I don't know that we'll ever do that. We might. That verdict is out. We're just not in a position to decide that. Many of our people are getting the vaccine. I'm actually getting it this afternoon, right after this call. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
We do encourage it.
Good, good. Well, we have a couple more questions, so I'm going to pivot back over there. There's the word of the year, right? So you mentioned sustainability. What does that look like over the years? Any key thoughts or points to pass on about sustainability?
Yes, and I'm going to go back really to my mentor and partner. He taught me a long time ago, this is a nickel and dime business. We're not selling $1 million pieces of equipment here. You know, we're selling products from $10 to maybe a couple of $100, right? It's a nickel and dime business. You have to watch those nickels and dimes. DataFax has always been profitable. We've always grown. We've done it at a conservative, controlled rate, so we could always over-deliver, not under-deliver what we're promising our customers. We're not 100% perfect, but I think our sustainability to have really good financial performance and control of our finances has made us sustainable, and our team really gets it. They care. They want us to succeed. And we, you know, because we put that money back in the profit sharing plan with our 401k match, all of those things. But as you grow, you can't do it alone. Your team has to, you know, there's a book called Ownership Thinking. Our team thinks like owners. You know, they own it. Their performance, and that really is part of our sustainability and the ability to hire great people, and then keep those great people. I just think that's key, is financial performance, culture, and then customer retention, right? Customer retention and living by those core values.
We have one more question that we have in now is, what is the one lesson in your life, good or bad, that you learned the most from?
Well, one, you know, I think people sometimes will surprise you, both good and bad. People will really surprise you at what they can accomplish if you can help unleash their potential, right? And I've really learned that, and that it doesn't have to be my way. It can be everybody's way, your way. Let's just get to the results. But on the flip side of that, I think a lesson I've learned is, because I always want the best out of everybody, some people don't want that for themselves. And people won't let you down, right? They will surprise you. That they'll teach you some lessons along the way that sometimes people are just not a good fit, and maybe you should let them go sooner than you did, you know? So I think it's just people lessons.
Those are always the hardest. I want to go back again because one thing that you mentioned earlier was the community service, that you have your employees that do that. And I know that you have been recognized as one of the best places to work in Memphis by Memphis Business Journal several times. Do you think that having your employees involved in community service has been one of the things that's been a real asset to your organization?
I do. I think that our people have a variety of interests, and we're always looking for things that interest them. And part of our culture for a long time has been, and we did have to stop this during COVID, was 10% of every customer's first month's bill with us, whether their bill is $1,000 or $100,000, 10% of that goes to the charity of their choice. So that's one way that our people can feel good about what we're doing. But community service is just about being part of a solution and finding your passion to help others. Do all you can for as many as you can, as long as you can. And one of my favorite things is, you make a life by what you get. I mean, you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. And to the extent that we're profitable, I think it's every business's, it's just incumbent upon them to give back to those less fortunate in some way. Yeah,
I just have loved every single one of your answers so far. So I'm looking at my list and looking to make sure that I'm not missing any questions, except for that Judy Bell says, "Great job, Daphne. You're a rock star." We already knew that. So,
oh, Judy Bell, we love you.
So what is one thing that people would be surprised to know about Daphne Large?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a real adventurer at heart, right? I would be out climbing mountains, scaling cliffs, zip lining. I just love to travel. I just have this insatiable, it's like wanderlust, really. And many people say happiness is in your backyard. Well, I love my backyard. Happiness is not in my backyard. It's in Europe. It's the world. I love that. And the next thing is that if in another life, I was probably a race car driver. Honestly, I just love fast sports cars. I've always had one, except when I was pregnant. I had to have that 4-door sedan after the baby was born. That was miserable, absolutely miserable. But I love fast cars. I drive fast. I love that low to the ground. I just love adventure and fun. It's all about fun.
How many speeding tickets have you had, Daphne?
You know what? I think the Germantown police gave up a long time ago.
I have a follow-up question, if you would, Daphne. So, being an adventurist, what is the best experience that you've had on the adventure side? And then, what's the one thing that maybe is on your bucket list that you haven't done yet?
Oh gosh, I can think of two things. One time I was climbing cliffs in the Caribbean, and I'm only 5'2", so I got these little short legs. I'm a little overweight, and there's these native Caribbean guys. They're just climbing up these cliffs like it's let's go. And I'm like, what the hell? I can barely reach the thing. They're like, no, come on, you can do it. So getting up was no problem. But when you're coming down a straight face cliff and you're just you, and they're like, well, ma'am, you're gonna have to put your leg over there. And they're just like, just trust us, just drop. Okay, well, there you go. I made it. I lived through it. And another quick one was snow sledding and dog sleds on the top of a glacier. We had helicoptered up in Alaska, and there was a big fault line. And so when the lady, she says, like, now make sure you don't go over there, because that's danger, that's bad. And then she goes about and says, and when you fall off, and as you're dog sledding, and I'm like, oh, hell no, there's no falling off this dog sled. I am not falling off. And my son and daughter were with me. And, we each got to drive for quite a ways and up these hills. And I'm like, no, nobody's falling off, because this body is not going to roll well. But just fun stuff, ATVing with bears in the distance, and, just fun float planing in Alaska. I just love everything. Anything fun and exciting. I'm all about catacombs in Paris. I feel like Indiana Jones. It's just so fun.
That's awesome.
Well, Dottie Justy just invited you to go to Mongolia with her for the Golden Eagle Festival. So sounds like those are two adventurous, very adventurous people. I'm sorry, Mark. Did you have something else that you were about to say?
No, no, I love that. I did. So what's the one thing that's on your bucket list that
You know
you
what?
got to do?
This isn't too exciting, but I want to ride an elephant in India. I'm going to do it. I just want to ride elephants. I love elephants. I've always loved elephants. I want to ride an elephant in India. I want to, go up and down the Nile River. I want to go through the jungles of South America. I mean, who knows?
That's awesome. And if you haven't done a NASCAR track day, you need to
You
do that.
know, I know. My husband actually bought me one, and I let it expire because I want to be on the Amalfi Coast, flying in a red Ferrari, not necessarily on a controlled speed track with a helmet on. I got to have that. In fact, that's my husband's biggest fear, that actually any day I'm going to pull up in a screaming red Ferrari at my age. But it could happen.
It would not surprise me, not one little bit. I love this. I'm learning so much about you, and I thought that I knew a whole lot about you. I did know that you drove a cool little sports car, but I did not know about your speeding ticket habit. So I'm going to have to talk to the Germantown police. I do want to know, what are 3 things you could not live without?
Oh, well, internet, travel. Fun. It all starts with fun. Travel, international travel, dogs, rescue dogs, all dogs, any dogs, big dogs, huge dogs, little dogs of all kinds. Kind of the thrill of winning, right? Or trying your best. And then you don't always have to win, but you got to be in there. You got to be in the fight. I'd love that adrenaline. And then fast cars. So it's 4 fast cars.
I love that. So I'm going to ask one more question, then if anybody else, Mark or anybody, has any questions. This has been so fun. I really thought we'd been on this call for about 10 minutes, and I just looked down and saw that it's 12:45. I cannot believe how fast it's gone. But where do you see yourself and DataFacts, maybe 2 different answers, in 10 years?
10 years, I think we'll still be slugging it out. We'll still be in there competing. We'll still be fighting. We'll still be winning. We'll still have our place in the market. I might not be driving myself as crazy as I do by then. Hopefully be doing more and more travel. You may never see me again once travel opens up with COVID. But that'd be okay, because I have great people. They don't need me for a thing, and that's been my goal all along. Is they really don't need me for a thing, and so because they're great. But I see DataFacts still having a place, and we're still relevant, right? And we'll stay that way.
For sure, you're offering very important services. So Judy Bell says she wants to be Daphne for just 30 minutes. So I think that is a very good goal. So that might be where I am in 10 years. So Mark, do you have anything before we sign off that you would like to add, or Daphne, anything extra that you want to say?
Mark, I'll ask you first.
Driving a fast car like you, Daphne. Go. Hit the gas and go.
I know, and I get so frustrated with my kids when I have to ride with them, and they've got that same lead foot. I'm like, slow down. Anyway, I would say in parting words would be, if you have the chance to start your own business and change lives and influence people and solve a problem, it's the thrill of a lifetime. You meet so many cool people, and you just get to help so many people, customers, employees, and help give people purpose. Take it. Take that chance. Do it. Just do it. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't ever put off for tomorrow what you can do today. So there you go.
That's great. Wes Laughlin asked one more question, and I'll ask you that, and then we will do the door prize. But he wants to know if there were any other businesses that you would like to invest in. I can think of a few that sound like would be good for you, but.
Well, I am an investor in 2 or 3 other businesses already that are of interest for me. But if I was going to start and actually work in a business, it would probably have something to do with travel after I was retired. Either a bed and breakfast somewhere, or just out giving tours, like own a big yacht and be giving people tours all around the Caribbean or something. Wouldn't that be fun?
Would. I'll be your second name.
Up on a catamaran, going off a big slide all the time, just having fun with people. That would be it.
Well, this has been so much fun. I cannot tell you how I'm a little tired after this interview. Though.
Oh,
I
girl,
feel
this is me
I
all
need just
day,
some
every
of
day.
that Daphne energy. But Lisa did draw while we were meeting, and Dottie is the recipient of our book, and it's not showing up right on my thing. So Dottie, I will be working with you to get you a copy of Monkey is King. Has nothing to do with her inviting you to Mongolia. It was totally Lisa doing it, but we really, really appreciate this. And I will be able to forward this video to everyone that was on the call. Next month, we will be with Don Hudson on April the 15th. I will send out that information also. But thank you. This was so fun, Daphne.
Oh,
really
thank you so much.
it.
I love you all. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank you, Daphne.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff.
Great.
Mark.
So much fun.
Zoom.
The two of y'all, I don't want to be next to you in the car. So.
That's right. I will blow you away. I will race you to the death.
Hysterical. All right, guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye.